So, social media users have been roasting the Chief Executive Officer of the Petroleum Commission, Emeafa Hardcastle, for her "don't bring yourself" comments and the use of the word "silly" in a video.
You are threatening me that you take me up because you are who?
I'm who? Why?
My friend, don't bring yourself.
What's the meaning of that?
What do you mean you are taking me on? What does that phrase
You
mean?
called us micro.
Why you are micro minority? Doesn't Avengers himself use that phrase? Bring yourself. I don't have time for
Who's there with that?
You think you can bully me here? Hey.
No, I don't have a problem.
Not this silly child come and bully me.
You heard the word she used. What called me silly? She called me silly.
Are you a silly child?
No. We will deal with this matter. You called me
Wait, I
silly.
don't have time for you.
Good enough. No. I'm not.
Did I mention your name? Why are you taking a hat on your head? Did I mention your name? You know you were fighting on TV about this your seat. You are coming to select your
Please.
Did I mention your name?
You cannot call me
Did
silly.
I mention your name?
We have procedure.
Did I mention your name? You can carry a cross you want to carry.
So, most people have considered this from a political point of view, comparing her behavior to the women of the previous administration. But what I can say is that this is wrong because you don't use two wrong things, or you don't bring up two wrong things on a scale and try to justify which one of them is better. What is wrong is wrong. And most people consider her behavior as uncouth, uncultured, and uncivilized, which I equally find disturbing because you don't even know what happened. You just saw the peak or the climax of their verbal argument, and you think that you know enough to criticize any of them. That is also wrong. And it is also very unfortunate when people say women should not be given position of power because they are always coming to display this kind of behavior there. I find this comment very disturbing, and I think it is anti-feminist. The first thing we're going to talk about is the social context of what she said. Every social context demands a different version of a person. When you are in the home, your office, a wedding, a funeral, every social context that you find yourself demands a different version of you for you to be able to fit well into the society. So her comment was made at a political setting. In a political setting, you might not find a problem with what she has said because you are not sending your moral compass there to go and be judging what people are saying or what a woman is supposed to say and what a woman is not supposed to say. And those are some of the comments I find disturbing because words are things that both men and women can use. There is nothing in the word silly that shows masculinity. So both men and women can use the word silly, and in as much as I wouldn't use that, but most of the comments that I have seen, people don't have a problem with the word silly. They have a problem with a woman using the word silly on a man in public. And this is what I find disgusting. Women have been trained to be gentle, they have been trained to be submissive, they have been trained to be tolerant, don't talk, you don't have to push the buttons of a man. And when people see things like this, it becomes shocking to them. So most of the comments that I have seen on social media are not comments that are actually condemning what she has done. They are condemning women and they are condemning a woman standing up against a man. In as much as I don't know what actually transpired behind the scenes, that is why I said this is not going to condemn any of them. So I am going to take this from a feminist perspective and give you what's a feel of what the feminist thinker is going to say about this. So most of the comments that I have found on social media are actually not against her use of the word silly. They are against a woman using such a word. So this is the first comment. She's a beautiful mom, but her character is 0 to the power of 0. A very complicated character. Sorry if she has a husband, because no man will like his wife to behave this way in public, which I find very unfortunate. Most men want women who can stand up for their rights, women who will not be bullied in public and they run home coming to their husbands to come and tell their husbands that this is what Mr. A or Mr. B did, or this is what Madam A or Madam B did to me. Women who can stand up and tell you that, hey, you are wrong. So there is nothing wrong with a woman being angry. Yes, she is angry. This is a political setting. If you're going to walk around being kind, being tolerant, and being all the good virtues that people think that she should have assumed, you're going to be used, you're going to be bullied, you're going to be taken for granted. And considering her position, the CEO of the Petroleum Commission, you all know that she didn't get there by being mediocre, or she didn't get there by joking or playing games with people. So she means business. And her behavior is a political statement to every other person who thinks that he can go and toy with her because she's a woman. I think this will set a good example for people who would like to go and intimidate her in future. They wouldn't dare try it, in as much as I don't support this initial comment. Then the next thing that I notice is that people don't have a problem with women. People have a problem with women having power. So once a woman is in a position of power, people find that intimidating. And you find people asking questions like, can she cook? How does she treat her husband in the house? And such, all those comments are very unfortunate. A woman's worth should not be measured based on her ability to cook or based on how submissive she is. I mean, what is the premise of this argument? Why should we measure people's worth by the amount of nonsense that they are able to tolerate? I find this very disgusting and very unfortunate. This is why it is assumed women become disrespectful when given a higher position. This women affirmative action bill should be scrapped out of parliament. Give a lady power and she will show you where her true character is. She is very pompous and arrogant. John Dramani Mahama should revoke her appointment, else she will cause havoc to the NDC. This is someone expressing his view that her comment is going to cause a havoc to the NDC. But based on the comments that I have seen, members of the NDC are actually happy, and they are saying that they don't want the party leadership to force her to come and apologize for what she has said. I mean, if she's apologizing for using the word silly, that's right. But apologizing for being angry is wrong. I don't find that as something that is right. Her use of the word silly, that is not the best of words that she could have used, even though she was angry. But I think that if she's apologizing, then that's fine. But apologizing for being angry is what I am not also supporting, because anger is not a bad emotion. She is trying to tell you that she's not happy with the comment that you have passed or with the utterances that you have said. In as much as we don't know what happened, you have only seen the peak of their argument, and that is not enough to condemn any of them. So the next comment that I'm going to be discussing: when a woman stands to intimidation, you call it arrogance. This is actually true. We always tend to call bold, assertive, and confident women as being arrogant. We expect them to be submissive. We expect them to be kind. We expect them to be gentle. So even in situations where a person's gentility or a person's kindness is killing the person, and we still go on to praise a person because we are benefiting from the person's kindness or the person's tolerance. I mean, in as much as they are good virtues, but if you don't wield them well, you are going to get hurt being kind, being loving, being tolerant, and being consensuous. So let's move to the next comment. And your wives are even worse. Cut that joke over. This is something that I find interesting. Most of the male figures that have been commenting, this is a lady that is telling them that your wives are even worse. So you are judging this based on her home. I mean, this is unfortunate. Something that has happened in a political setting, and you think that this is how she equally behaves to her husband in the house. And so what if she does that to her husband? Are you the one she is doing to? And somebody will say he will never marry a woman like that. The point is, you're not in the same lane with her. So your way of thinking is different from her way of thinking. So the way of thinking of her husband is equally different from the way you are thinking. So things that you might find offensive, her husband would not have any problem whatsoever with that. So this is another comment: arrogance at the highest level. Does she have a husband? Or is she just following people's husbands? This is something also very unfortunate. I mean, a person's comment, just because she is married or not married, doesn't mean that she cannot say certain things, or what she has done, that is what she does to her husband. Somebody saying that is the highest level of arrogance. I mean, in a political setting, if you go to a political setting with your moral compass, you're always going to get offended. She said this at a political setting, not at home. I don't know why people are tilting this to mean that a woman's virtue are measured based on how well she treats a man. So is she just following people's husband? I don't think people who follows people's husband will be giving such an attitude to men. I think that this comment is very unfortunate. I think men are even going to be intimidated by her, and this argument shows that this person is from a very shallow point of view. You don't go around insulting people, or because she has done that, that means that she's following people's husband. This is very shameful. It is a shame to a husband and family for a woman to insult a man like that without no provocation from the man. seriously, we will have some low-key people to defend the woman in this country. Peace, shalom. Well, I equally find this comment very disturbing because her husband, it has nothing to do with her husband or her family. She's asserting her rights in a political space, and people think that this is what her husband is equally going through in the house for a woman to insult a man like that. So, if you have a problem here, you should say for a person to insult a colleague human being like that. I mean, that is something that I will understand you. If you see that she has insulted a human being or she has insulted someone, fine. But qualifying it with a woman insulting a man, that means that a woman has no right whatsoever to say anything hurtful to a man. I find that disturbing. Another social media user says, I cried for a husband at home. An immature minded person will come to defend it. Anyway, defending this doesn't actually mean that you're immature or you don't think or you're equally uncouth or uncivilized. I mean, you have to understand that different social settings demand different behaviors from different people. As I was saying, this is more or less like a political statement from her. Just because she's a woman doesn't mean that you can come and toy with her or come and say nasty things and think that you'll go scot free. You're going to be held by the fire of your words. What do you think about all the social media comments? Comment below on what you think.